It's a new week in the Crew Motorfest, and this week's theme is called Ferrari, and this is my summit guide. Let's go. All right, let's start out with the cars for this week. The summit bundle is about $1 million, and it gets you the Ferrari F40 and the Ferrari F12 Berlinetta. Now, you don't really need any additional vehicles for this because the rest of the vehicles are loaned vehicles. This week is completely loaned or fair play, which means parts are not even a concern. If you're a brand new player, you can jump into this summit with no parts. As long as you can afford the summit bundle, you can partake in every single event and not have to worry about being at a disadvantage with anyone who's played the game forever since day one. That being said, this is the perfect week to have a fair play summit because there is a car up for grabs, and it's nice for new players to have a chance to actually go ahead and get that. However, because there's loaned vehicles and parts are not going to be a factor, you really have no advantage, and your racing skill is exactly to blame if you don't get top 15,000. The car this week is an SF90 special edition. This car felt all right in the summit. I don't think it's going to be meta or even really that viable in the grand races, but it feels okay to drive. And again, we didn't really have pro settings or any parts on it in this summit, so it's kind of hard to tell, but you can kind of get the feeling for the handling, and it does have a slight understeer problem. All right, here are the pro settings for the two cars that you can use out of your inventory. That's the F50 and the F12. All right, the first event is called Beyond Imagination, and this is with that special edition SF90. There's quite a few little cuts and things you can do on this one. In this particular clip, there's one cut that I didn't perfect, but we'll get to that in just a moment. So let me fast forward. All right, at 14%, this turn here, you either have to slow way down and take the gutter, or you have to actually like drift or cut this corner. You got to do something, because if not, you're going to go wide and hit the building. So I went a little bit inside the checkpoint and then continued on the road. Just after that, at 23%, the SimG skip. Use NOS in the air, and you're going to be going a lot faster outside of that turn. Let me just go back to that because the visual cue is the last of these three flags. So basically what you're trying to do is hit this flag, go straight through it, and then point your car in the direction of the bridge, just like this. There you go. Here at 33%, you can cut this corner a little bit. And then the very next corner, you're going to cut this as well. Just cut across the grass, regain with the road. And then the very next corner after that, you're going to cut to the left of the airplane and tree. Go to the left of the airplane, left of the tree, and continue on your way. All right, the next cut is at the checkpoint at 62%. It's right here. You're going to cut right on the right side of this checkpoint. Go across the river here. Use air NOS once you hit this pile of rocks. And obviously my car decided to go nose up. Now, that's not what you want to do. If you hit the rocks, you're looking for the car to stay flat. Obviously, use your air NOS and get to this next checkpoint. Luckily, I kept, a little bit of speed, and my car was going the right direction, so I just ran with it. All right, here at 86%, you can cut the corner. Just make sure you don't hit any trees or light poles. And that's it. You're home free. Let's move on. All right, the next event is called Nueva, Dolce, Vita, I guess. Hopefully I said that correctly. And this is just one of those drag races. You basically have to get your NOS. When the symbol here goes red, you click the gas pedal and it turns blue. You know you got your NOS when it turns blue. Second it goes red, click it, boom, blue, and blue again. Now the key to this one to get a really good fast start is to not touch the gas pedal until the second the go comes up. And you don't have a countdown. So this is something you have to just have a reaction time to. It's a part of the mechanic here with this thing. And when you do that, shift up immediately and blast your NOS immediately. So here's what it looks like. I didn't really do it that well, but you can get the idea. You'll know you get the speed burst if your car takes off right away. If you spin the wheels, you know you didn't get it. Now, the NOS strategy for this is 2 NOSes right off the bat, and then wait and hold your NOS till the right-hander that's towards the end to give you the final push towards the finish line. So hold it here. And on this right-hander right here, go ahead and blast the last bit of NOS. And that'll get you to the finish line in a decent amount of time. Let's move on. All right, the next one is called Beauty and Performance. This one's with the loaned FXXK. This one's actually pretty nice. Decent route. There's not a lot of cuts, but I'll show you the ones that I know. So let's fast forward. All right, right here at 7%, go ahead and cut across the grass. Now, if you're wondering how do you keep the racing cars from spinning when you go across the grass, the key is not to let off the gas. Keep the gas down the entire time you're on the grass. If you need to slow down or you feel like you're going too fast, continue holding the grass and then use your brake on top of that. But don't ever take your finger off the throttle. It's important for the grass cuts for racing. All right, at 19%, you're gonna go across the grass again. You might drift a little bit, but that's okay. Just get close to the checkpoint like I did there. At 31%, you'll go to the right, then cut left of the tree, regain with the road. Now, I did this pretty poorly. There's a lot of time we can save, or that I can save on this this particular run. It wasn't the best, but I did the cuts, so just wanted to show you those. All right, here at 38%, cut across the grass and join back on the road. You're gonna do the same thing when you get to the end of this. Cut across a little bit, that way you don't go into the grass. All right, another grass corner cut here, right before the bridge. And then you can just, hit the gutter or, just drive on the road for that exit. And that's it. You're home free. All right, let's move on. All right, the next event is called the Leap Forward, and this one is with the F50. This one's not too bad, but there are a couple of cuts, so let's take a look. All right, here at about 12%, you're gonna ride the gutter, cut right after the wall, and use your NOS through this section. All right, about 48%, you'll cut this corner on the right. And then the very next corner, you're also gonna cut this one as well. Just be aware of the trees. Try not to hit any trees, regain with the road there. At the bottom of this hill here, you're gonna cut this corner and cut the next corner as well. Here at about 84%, you're gonna cut after the wall ends, back onto the road. I did this a little bit sloppy. And then on this one, 89%, you can cut across and go straight for the gutter here. And that's basically it. All right, let's move on. All right, the next event is called the Most Powerful V8. And this one is with the Pista. This is a very nice car to drive. It feels really great. Highly recommend it using it in the grand races if you haven't already. For this one, let's fast forward to the cuts. Here at about 16%, cut across the grass here. Control speed because you will go into the wall if you go too fast. All right, now this one I did not do well, but I ended up salvaging it because I got a really nice wall bounce. What you should do is go out here to the right on the grass just before this turn. Just go out on the right and make this a really wide turn. But I took it as if I was racing in a grand race, which ended up working out, but I don't think it was faster than if I had done it correctly. So you want to go out wide and then cut back in to the left flag for this checkpoint. But here's what I ended up doing. Got a really lucky bounce. I didn't get a speed penalty, so that ended up working out. And that's actually it. The rest of it is just staying on the road. All right, let's move on. All right, the next one is called Pure Ferrari DNA. And this race was the worst example of pure Ferrari DNA. We had curb hops, we had jumps over barricades, we had, tons and tons of cuts in this lap, and they're hard to get straight. So I'm gonna show you the full lap. On this very beginning, you wanna go to the left a little bit and cut in, cut this corner here. Try to control yourself. Sometimes the car gets a little out of control like that. Then you're gonna hit this hump right here. Use NOS. Try not to hit any trees. Don't worry about it if you don't go fast on the first lap. The second lap, you'll be going a lot faster. Cut this corner here after the bridge. And then you're gonna cut across the park here on the right side. And then again, right here through these areas, there's flowers and bikes and stuff. And then this section here is just all about NOS. You're going to use your NOS, to where you can get up to top speed, but you don't want to be completely empty when you hit the corner. Now, me personally, I like to brake and just take this corner at the right here at this wall. Normally, you can do it. You can drift it. You can go through and reset it. But I think normally it worked out best for me. And then you're going to cut this corner here as close to the house as possible. And you're off and running. Let me show you what the jump looks like on lap 2. It's gonna be slightly different. So on lap 2, go through here. You can go a little bit more to the right and then really NOS it to get over the building. So that's what it's gonna look like in full speed. All right, let's move on. All right, the next event is called Wild at Heart, and this is with the F8. The F8 Spider is actually pretty slippery, so you got to be careful of it in the turns. It'd be easy to lose the back end on this one. Let me fast forward to the spots that are important. All right, you're going to cut this corner here at 16%. You can do it by drifting like I did. Here, let me back it up. You can do it by drifting like I did here, or you can just roll across it. That worked out fine for me. This corner also, you're going to cut this to the right side of that flag. Watch the trees, and then downshift heavily so you don't miss this turn. I got lucky with the bounce. You can cut to the right of this tree here. Go across this little section of golf course or school or whatever it is. Cut a little bit there on that corner. You're going to cut a little bit here on some of these corners as well, just to make sure that you don't go off the course. This one is a corner cut for sure. Try not to hit that palm tree. That one's easy to hit too. And then this one, you need to control speed going into this. Cut this corner here and then slow down a little bit, because you'll bump around and you might be into this wall if you don't go too fast. I mean, if you do go too fast, you'll be in the wall. All right, that's actually it. The rest of it is completely on the road, no cuts. All right, let's move on. All right, the next event is called A Dream Come True, and this is with the 308 GTS. So this race, there's a lot to do with it. There's really just like 2 or 3 sections though that are really, really important. So let me get to those. The first one is this jump here. You want to aim to the right of the checkpoint. See how the checkpoint is like, let me back up. See how the checkpoint is right there? You can see the dot. Aim to the right of that. And then NOS in the air. You want to save as much NOS for this particular jump, because this helps you get a lot of speed. So NOS a lot. And then when you get to this corner, downshift to 4th and take it fairly slowly. 130 miles an hour is kind of where you want to be. 120, somewhere in that range. Now in this straight, you've got a couple of pretty tricky turns at the end of this straight. So blasting your NOS here is okay. You can basically use the whole tank. You don't have to, but you can use basically the whole tank. What I did was I tapped it a little bit in 4th, let it recover a little, and then used a lot of it in 5th. Now, right here, this is a pretty tight section. So what you want to do is go on this curb, aim for this arrow right here. And then when you go through this arrow, you're going to be hitting a set of stairs. So it looks just like this. So you're going to go through this. Then you want to aim to the right of this flag. You basically want to look like you're not going to make the checkpoint at all. You're going to be on the right side of it, because the stairs actually throw you left. So go to the right of it and see how they throw you left. And then you can wall bounce a little bit here and then keep on moving. Now this corner, you may be tempted to cut. I'd say don't cut it at all. The curb actually throws you a little bit like off your line and makes you slow down. Plus there's a little wall right here. So stay off of this curb completely. Take this section with a lot of patience. You don't have to go fast here. Just get through it and then start nosing. Going into this tunnel, you want to be to the left here. There's a little jump. You can gain a lot of speed just by jumping there. It's very small, but it works. And then finally control speed here. Cut the corner, stay on the curb, and start nosing. You can also go to the left here on this curb and sort of take a nice tight angle there, but I wouldn't go on the curb there or cut it. And that's pretty much it. All right, the last event is called Agile and Powerful. And this race actually was quite enjoyable for me to drive as well. I think it's the car. The car fits this course pretty well. So that being said, let's get to the most important things. All right, a lot of this first part of this race is going to rely on your gutter turns. This car does gutter pretty well. So make sure you're hitting these gutters. This is important. You need to be taking this basically in 3rd gear. Some of them, I think the first couple might have been 4th, but 3rd gear is really good for these. So that's basically what you want to do going down the hill. When you get to the jump, you don't want to use any NOS when you're going up, only when you're going down. Or flat, I should say. Because if you use it on the way up, you'll go over the checkpoint. You have to reset anyways. All right, there's a cut here at about 37% after the flag. Just watch the cars. As you go through these tents, there's cars to the left. Try to stay to the right of those guys. When you get here, I did a drift and a wall tap. It's okay. You can do that. You can also just try to drift it and not hit the wall. That's probably better. But yeah, either way, it's not going to slow you down too much as long as you don't go into the wall full speed and get like the little crash animation. This corner at 62, you can cut just a little bit to the right of the flag. And you can do the same thing here, but I chose the gutter instead. I think I could definitely cut some time off that if I decided to cut that corner. All right, last couple of turns, you're going to cut this corner. Make sure you get the checkpoint. I kind of drifted it a little bit and cut really close to the building here as well. And that's it. You're home free. All right, here are my final scores. Make sure you DM me with any questions you might have. I'll try my best to help you out. I know this is a car summit, and And I know you guys don't want to wait 9 months to get this car in the Prestige ticket store. So definitely follow the cuts and ask questions if you need to on Instagram or Discord. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope this helps, and I will catch you on the next one. Trigger out.